more of like a kind of like Pokemon Go. It's very location based. So that is very different from what we're doing here, and the game kind of just works very differently too. So you're gonna have a little trouble kind of connecting this class to what you're gonna see in the Minecraft Earth, just because it's a little bit more like Pokemon Go. Bedrock, there shouldn't be any trouble with using Bedrock. I think your options are a little bit different. I think if you're in Bedrock, depending on what version, I think you end up just that flat kind of space, like I know some of the students ended up with. But that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I've spent some time kind of making some hills that I'm going to show you on in just a second. And then the demo version probably will not work as well because that one, it's just survival mode. And it's a very limited demo. You don't get to play it for very long. So the class is going to go on for way longer than the demo was. But like I went over last time, to get Minecraft, it's only like $27. And then you're going to get all the updates that they come out with it. So you don't have to worry, about purchasing it, anything like that. Or if you get a new device, you don't have to worry about repurchasing it. They'll kind of let you just re-download it for whatever device that you're now kind of going to use it on. Okay, after going all over that stuff, I think we're ready to jump in. So really quick, this someone who just joined. Well, what I was kind of covering was just the different versions of Minecraft, and basically to sum it all up, we are going to need the Minecraft game, not the Earth, not the demo version. You need Minecraft Java Edition, Bedrock Edition, or if you have it for your Switch, your Xbox, your PlayStation, all that's going to work too. It's kind of summary of what you missed there. And then, so we are making our story event. So I'm going to go right to today's story event, and you can kind of select different ones. So I have another world over here. I have a survival world. We are working in our story event. So just make sure that's highlighted, and I'm going to hit play selected world. Oh, education edition. Yeah, you should totally be able to do an education edition as well. My world is going to take a second to load it anyway. So you should totally be able to do an education edition. I was working with another student yesterday who had it, and she didn't have kind of any trouble kind of keeping up and doing everything we're doing. I think in the education edition, you just get some little extra kind of like tutorials or stuff like that, but it really shouldn't be affected game at all. All right, let this guy live. I'm not sure if y'all remember from last class, but all I really had here was this hill, that little hill over there where those horses are, and then the rest of it was kind of flat. So I'll show you out where I did. And then another way to notice what I did is I took off all the grass from where I messed with the world. Because I know, like I said, a lot of you were starting off that really flat area. So I kind of flattened out this little area too, kind of just what you're starting off with. And then I just started to build all this up. Just this whole layer here, this little hill here, built up this guy over here. Once you start seeing grass, I didn't really do that. That's just kind of the world. But I built up all this stuff here. See, please talk. Can everyone hear me okay? Ah, okay. Okay. I'm going to go over what we're doing today in just a second. I just wanted to show y'all really quick what you could do with yesterday's knowledge. So just kind of building the hills, because I know a lot of people had to start in the flat area. But don't worry, we're going to get to that in just a second. Got that little guy. And then I even built up this really kind of big hill over here. So all it takes is a little bit of time, and you can turn your really, really flat area into a nice kind of hilly space too, and make it really, really cool. But on to what we are covering today, and this is going to be big, guys. So whenever you're creating a world, whenever you're creating, a new land, you want to plan it out. And so that is going to be a big part of what we're doing today. And then we're going to, hopefully, if you have enough time, we should get a little bit into actually building the structures, and then a little bit on roofs to kind of help you get a feel for how big the house is going to be, or your building, or whatever it is that you're doing. And this will become really important when you work on like mega structures and all that kind of thing. The planning is so important, guys. I have a friend who's working on the new the new Halo Infinite. He makes level designs there, and he says that he does this most of the time. It's just all planning. So it's really important that we get this right. So all we're really gonna need for this one are a couple items, just a couple of materials that I use here. So we can open up our inventory. I have a grass block just so I can kind of build things up. I have a stone block. I'm actually going to use a different kind of stone block today. I'm going to use cobblestone for my brick. I'm going to drop this over here. I want to use some oak log. Then I'm still going to use, sometimes I'm just going to use a different color. And then stairs, we can use our search tab. Search for stair. I'm going to use cobblestone to match this here. And then get rid of this guy. And then a glass window pane. So you can just type in pane, P-A-N-E. And I'm just going to use the regular glass, just because that's what I got over here. But y'all can, you can use any materials, any kind of different mix and match up of them. And then you can also use kind of any different colors that y'all want. I'm just keeping it simple, so that it's kind of easy for y'all to kind of see what I'm doing. All right, but first of all, what we need to do is lay out kind of where we want our buildings. So as you can see here, I kind of have them in different stages. I'm going to have a little 2-story building here. I like to set my ground foundation, get where my different levels are going to be, and even I like to get kind of how high my roof is going to be. And then a staircase, if I'm going to have a staircase, just because that's important on how it's going to fit in the house. So, and then I'll kind of like to build the houses at different levels too. So we'll go over that in some examples today. It's pretty much the same thing. You just kind of go up one. And then on this guy, it's a little bit more simpler house. He's just going to be a single story. Just a little example of like some different stuff. I wanted a little skylight in here. I don't really like those flat roofs. I always try to staircase my roof, so I'm going to show you all how to do that. And then I even like to get, when I'm kind of planning out my structures, I like to get a feel for the doors are too. That way I know where to put, I'm going to need to put all my paths. And we're going to be creating some really cool, really intricate kind of walkways and paths to our between our village. So we want to be sure that everything is getting planned out really well. So it started raining on me, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix the weather. You can do this by kind of just like how we set the time. Time, set day. We can do the same thing for the weather. We can do weather, space, and then you see you have your options, clear, rain, or thunder. I'm going to go clear, and hit enter, and that rain should clear up. There we go. Just a cool kind of little thing that we can use. So yeah, I like to see where my entrances to the house are going to be, and that's pretty much just how I'll define my entrance. And then I'll start laying down some kind of paths so we know where all of that stuff is going to be. Now, I turned off my spawning for the villagers because they get in the way of me building. You guys can definitely have your villagers on, but since I'm teaching you guys, I don't want to have to be, running around villagers and all that while I'm trying to show you guys kind of what we do. I also like to plot out kind of like little farmer, little farm here. We can have some little farms back there. And I'm going to show you guys how to do some really cool ponds and rivers and really work with water in a fun way. So I got a little bit started here. And then I just kind of dug out this little path where my river is going to flow. And then I dug out this huge path where I'm going to have a pond. So I'm going to have a big kind of pond, little lake thing right here. Then I'm going to have some nice kind of bridges that are kind of go where you can walk over the pond. And then just another little house, just kind of another way. I'm going to show you all how to build the roof, which is basically that roof over here, and then just another way to build a house. And I said those day-night cycles are going to be important, just because we want to be able to see how our house is going to look at the nighttime. We're getting closer to Halloween, so I definitely had to throw in some jack-o'-lanterns. So this house is kind of halfway done. I did this one in pieces, so I can show you kind of like little different things. And then I just wanted to, since it's like such a little storyland house, I thought a garden on the roof would be kind of cool. So you guys had to do that. And here's that same roof, kind of just halfway built. Windows, and then that staircase I was telling you about. I like to come in and actually give it some railings, kind of really make it look cool. And then you always want to be able to test your staircase too, make sure it works. And then later on, once we kind of already have our planning and our main kind of structures done, we can worry about kind of decorating it and making it look cool. Let's just turn this back to day so you guys can see. And then just kind of little starts of the balcony and just some extra little details that I like to do to the house and I like to do to the roof, sometimes changing up the color. And you just get it to look a little bit nicer as opposed to like this one where I have everything the same color. Just so you guys can kind of see the difference there. But alrighty, so really working on the planning today, digging out where we want our river, where we want our pond, setting our path and our bridges to go over any water we might have, and kind of just laying out where we're going to have some of our big buildings. And the reason this is just so important, guys, because if you ever want to change something in your level, now's the time to do it. If you were to spend your time, building like some really awesome house right here, and then you end up deciding later that it'd actually be even better if you had maybe like a mine cart, or it's like some tracks running through there, but you're not going to want to destroy your house. So that's why in the planning stages, really want to figure out where we're going to want everything. And then I dug this out just to kind of create a little path. And to create my paths, you don't have to kind of go crazy with it. Just every now and then, you just want to be able to see kind of where your path is going, where it's leading. There we go. And we just get a good sense of where our players are kind of going to be walking through our village. And one of the first things I actually like to do is I like to do all the natural stuff. So I'm going to start digging out where I want my lake. Actually, off of this, I actually wanted a waterfall to kind of come off of there. So, and I'll show you guys how to do waterfalls as well. Clear up that weather again. I'm going to show you guys how to do waterfalls. So I plan on a waterfall coming down here. I'm going to have a little river so I can just dig in a couple of blocks. And then sometimes in the big biomes, you'll actually come across places where they have like caves and stuff. So I'm actually just going to kind of get my grass block and I'm going to cover him up. And I can worry about making it deeper later and doing all that. And then when you're making something like a river or a pond, you don't need to have everything kind of like perfect. It actually really helps if things are kind of messy because nature is a little bit messy and things aren't always going to look kind of like perfect squares and rectangles. So it's cool to have like some, a random block that's kind of, in there, or, a random block that kind of goes out. That's totally fine to have when you're making something like a river. Oh man, this cave is huge. All right, so I'll fix that later. There we go. And then this is going to be where I start my big pond. And when you're building something like a pond, you probably want to go about 2 to 3 layers deep. So I'm going to do stuff in kind of like a smaller version for you guys. That way you guys just don't have to watch me kind of breaking up things and doing it all the time. That big one that I showed you over there, take the time to, to really build something cool. I'm going to do a small one just for right now. That way you guys just don't have to see me kind of destroying blocks for, the next 5 minutes. But you want to go about 2-3 layers deep and leave a little layer. And then kind of come over here. There we go. There you go. So that's going to work as a kind of good little pond for right now. I said I'm going to go back in here and make it later, or make it a little bit bigger and better later. But I think you guys can kind of get the idea of where all my water is going to be and all that. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to have the water flow down here so I can start stacking up stuff a little bit here to make sure all that water is going to come into here and it's going to stay right here. I can, and then really quick, because that wasn't enough water to make a bridge. So I'm going to open this up a little bit. And this is just to let myself know that I'm actually going to have a river that flows from the waterfall down, and that river is going to flow all the way through here. And then kind of now I'm going to have somewhere to kind of build a bridge over. Like I said, when you're doing, something like a river, it's good to have it a little messy. It shouldn't look perfect. There we go. I'll go in and make it deeper later. But you basically want to do the same thing. You want to go about 2-3 layers deep, and then kind of leave just a spot or two here on the edges, and it's just going to give it a little bit of depth instead of it being kind of just like, this flat kind of place. We're going to see that the river actually has some deep parts to it. And we'll go into more about decorating your rivers, lily pads, kind of water plants, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go into that a little bit later. But now I know where my river is going to be. Now let's see where I'm going to have some buildings. So I'm going to switch to the cobblestone that I'm going to use kind of as like the base of a lot of my building. And I'm going to show you guys how to kind of start setting it up on a flat area. We can dig out kind of like a space in the hill, and we can kind of have it in the hill. I kind of like that. I like to do those kind of houses, kind of like a little hobbit home. And then multiple levels, and then kind of having your house just kind of go up a hill as well. So let's start building. And so you can use whatever materials you want. I think the wood and the cobblestone is going to go good for our kind of storyline place that we're building for this one. So it's my little home here, and actually I need this a little bit more space, so I'm going to destroy some of this hill that I made. It's kind of getting in the way. I always like to do balconies and porches on my house and like give them fences and stuff, so I want to make sure that we're going to have plenty of room to do all that. Come in, and I kind of just start placing blocks. There's a lot of people who like to do kind of like simple rectangle houses. They say like, I like 9x12s or 8x10 or however you want to do it. To be honest, when I make my houses, I don't count that. I just kind of make them. And I kind of feel like when I do that, every house that I make ends up a little bit unique in that way. So I'm actually showing you an example of what you do not want to do. This is it's just a square or a rectangle, but we can make this really cool. We can just knock out just like a couple of these, and instead of having it go up, we're just gonna have it come over here to the side. There we go. That looks a little bit more interesting. Then you can also do it to this side. This side looks a little boring too. Here, let's just have him come out more. There we go. I'm definitely liking the layout of this house a lot better than the kind of basic square that we had earlier. And the more you do this, guys, is kind of just the more and more complex that your house is going to get. So, if I want to do it one more time over here, have it really get close to this hillside, we can even do like a little balcony that kind of goes onto the hill. Might be cool. There we go. It's getting dark, sorry. All right, there we go. Now that's a really interesting house layout. Much better than just kind of your basic square. Like I said, there's a lot of people, who like to count and make sure everything is like super precise. I said when I do that, all my houses kind of ending up with the same. But when you're building a really big, believable world and village, and you really want people to believe that this place exists, and you everything should be just a little bit different. Just think about when you go, like in your neighborhood, when you drive around, just all the apartments, all the houses, everything is going to look just a little bit different, and so that's why I kind of just like to have fun with it and just make everything just kind of how I'm feeling. This looks like a good spot too. I think I would like a house to kind of be right here next to the river, kind of surrounded by it. I think that's going to look really cool. So I'm going to get rid of some of these, and what I'm also going to do is have this house go kind of on 2 levels. So instead of just being on one flat level, I'm going to want it to come up this hill a little bit, and I might need to kind of fill in some extra grass blocks. You guys notice I don't have a lot on my toolbar here. It's very simple. This is really all I'm going to need to kind of plan stuff out right now. Once you have too much stuff on there, I kind of get lost and forget where things are. So when I'm planning it out, it's better for me, at least, to just keep it nice and simple, just with what I need. All right, that looks pretty good. To make it easy on myself, when we're going up, instead of having to go up to all these little corners, I am gonna just kind of make it nice and evenly split off. And since we're gonna actually turn this into a house, it's gonna look okay. It rains a lot in this biome. There we go. So now we're gonna start placing our bricks and stuff pretty much the same way. And guys, if you're, let's say if you're one of those advanced students and you're a little bit more faster at this, that means that you can probably, okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions. Let me get to those. Let me just finish this house design really quick, and I will answer those. I see those coming up. I will get to y'all in just a second. So I'm going to make this kind of like a triple kind of story house. So let's come down here. And since this one is coming up on some levels so that we're not getting too confused with the different parts, I'm going to keep this one just as a square. The simple fact that it's going up some levels instead of being flat on the ground is going to help make that just really interesting all on its own. So we don't need to see, now that's going to be our house. Our house is just kind of go up. All right, now we have these two kind of foundations for our house, what we're going to have. And then I know, yeah, some of you got here late. So this is kind of what we're hoping to end up with, more something that looks like this by the end of today's class. Just kind of a simple planning out. This is called gray boxing in the gaming industry. So we're just planning out our levels. We're boxing out things to see how big our structures really are, how big our paths actually need to be, where we're going to want our different farms and our different houses. But yes, guys, this is the end goal right here, at least the front side. I'll show you the back in a second. I built this house in parts to kind of show you guys those different stages. But yeah, we're going to want, fully, lit doors, decorations, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to put a flower bed on the roof just because I thought it was cool. Let me see. So on the PC, I want to say to show your Minecraft character, it's F4 or F5. I'm not 100%, but it's one of those, and it basically changes your point of view. On the console, I'm pretty sure there's another command. I'm just not aware of it right now. But you could probably get that pretty quick, just like an easy kind of Google search. How Minecraft controls on the Xbox or Switch, whatever you're doing, and that should let y'all know how. See, so now that we kind of have a little foundation, we can actually start throwing our floorboards in here. I'm only going to do this for one or two of these houses, just because, like I said, I don't want you guys just to have to just watch me build the whole time, but it's going to be the same thing. So just exactly how I'm laying in the kind of the side pieces and the floors in here, that's exactly what you would do to this one over here. You just kind of fill in those floorboards. I'm doing the more, and it's not really more complicated, but since it's different levels, it looks a little bit different. But it's the same thing. And I know some of this is a little tedious. There we go. All right, so this is looking like a pretty cool base to our house. Now, the next step in this is building those kind of high beams like we're seeing over here. Basically, the corners of our walls, and then even kind of little outlining of where our roof is going to be. And then if you're going to have a balcony, it's a cool time to kind of put it in. You can really see, how that's gonna end up. This actually looks. This is kind of a little hole already there. Might put some water in there, so maybe I'll give this guy, like on the upper floor, a big tall balcony to kind of look over the water and the waterfall that's gonna be coming down here. So to build, let's switch to here, and then you can use whatever materials you want, guys. Like I said, to do this, I'm just using some jungle planks. Sorry. I'm just using some jungle planks, some cobblestone, and then some dark oak log. And so from our base of the floor, I like to go 6 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you might think that's a little bit tall, but once you get inside the building, everything actually feels super nice and spacious. If you make your roof too short, and then once you're in here, you really don't have a lot to look up, and you're gonna feel kind of like you're in a cave. So I like to go 6 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm gonna do that to the corners. Oh, and actually, I'm sorry. I would like to start them actually on the opposite corner end. Oh no, I'm sorry, this was right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm used to doing the wood first and then the outline. But yeah, you want your stack to go right up here on this outer tree. Then 6 up from the start of the floor. We're going to do the same thing over here. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can just kind of connect these guys. There we go. And then we can do the same thing here. Since we're going down a level, to do it on that bottom level, get it even here, and then just the same thing. So it's even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again connect these. And then this one should actually come down to that one. So here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There we go. And you see even our roof is going to have kind of 2 levels to it. And I think that's going to look pretty cool. Back sun. All right, so since working on 2 different levels, we'll start on the bottom level, get it even. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just connect them. Like I said, for you guys who kind of, already kind of have a handle on this, on, kind of getting your structures a little bit built, just start planning more houses. I'm definitely going to have a house over here, and then I'm probably definitely going to have a house over here as well. I'm not going to have enough time to kind of model everything for you guys, but these exact same tools that I'm teaching you are going to be used to make those same houses. I'm not doing anything different to kind of get them done. And then he can just come straight across. All right, then our last corners, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then there we go. I already know he's gonna come out there. Then I don't even have to count anymore because he's just gonna meet him right there. All right, that is gonna be the structure to one of the houses that we got here. And then I think what I'm also gonna want to do on this house is I'm gonna want a balcony because I really like balconies. I think they're super cool. It's really cool to kind of just be up high and just be able to see kind of everything that's going on in your land and stuff. So let's make one really quick. Have it coming out here. It really doesn't matter where you put your balcony. The reason I'm putting it on this side is because I know that I'm going to have the waterfall here, and I'm going to have a big pond here, and then the river's going to go through here. So I think having a balcony next to the waterfall is going to be super cool. And I'm building it just straight out from that beam that we made. It's going to be kind of like our ground level floor. And then I'm going to show y'all how to do the staircase as well. How to do a regular staircase, how to curve it. I think the staircase is also an important part of planning the house. I think that's big enough for the balcony. Oh, and then something else that's actually helpful in the planning stage is a fence. So just type in FEN, and all your fences will come up. And I think actually for this one, I'm gonna go with, instead of using a fence, I'm gonna use a stone wall. But the fences and the walls are gonna act the same, and I'll actually get both of them to show you guys how to use them. The dark one. It'll match my dark oak. Get out of here. So fences and walls. Let's see. So since you're now in the game of like Minecraft, you can totally have this guy sticking out, and it allows it. But it really wouldn't make sense if we saw that in real life. You know, there's always something kind of holding them up. So I like to use little fence posts as a way to kind of give the structure some support. And if you notice, I even used it on my house over there just for kind of decorating, just to, you know, just to give it a little extra something. There you go. And then for how the fence is actually, you know, normally used, you just place it here. When you place it one, you just get a stick. As you saw, you can stack those sticks. But when you place one next to it, they're going to connect now. And it'll keep doing that no matter where and how many you connect them. So you can just keep going like that, and you'll create, you know, these little boxes. Let's get rid of those though. All right, and then this is, you know, this is going to be, I guess, our little balcony. And then for the wall, like I said, I'm actually not going to use the, I don't think I'm going to use the wood fences for this house. I think I'm going to use the stone, but the stone walls behave in the same way. So you're just going to get kind of a stick. You can stack them. That's what I'm going to do right here. See, and it'll connect to anything. So it'll even connect to grass or whatever. So this is what I like to use. I heard someone mention horse stables and stuff earlier. So I will definitely be showing you guys how to create little animal pens and kind of how to keep them in there. And then feeding them is really easy. You would just search for a carrot. You can just search for like a food type. And then you just go up to the animal. And then you just kind of, instead of, you know, instead of like placing something, you would feed the animal. So you can totally do that. But yeah, so I'm going to use these instead, just to give you an example of how they would work up here. That's how your stone walls look. So I think the stone wall is going to go a little bit better for kind of the mood and stuff that I'm going for. So I'm going to use those. But just wanted to show you all that walls and fences, they work in the same way. And I actually use the fences for all those houses over there. There we go. Kind of how to start planning out some of your stuff. Let's see. And then something else that I think is really important is your doors. So you want to know how you're going to get into the building. That way you know where your paths need to be. So I'm going to have my door just right here. Oh, oops. So went over. So I'm going to have some double doors that lead right into this nice, pretty big house. And then I have some stairs. So let's place my stairs. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, stairs can be a little bit funny. So they're basically going to always, whenever you put down a stair, you're going to be able to walk up it. Like it's always going to be facing towards you like that. So if I do that, my stair is still facing up. But I don't like this hard kind of cutoff that we have. So if I look this way, and now it's going to place it in that direction, curves it in. Now I have a nice, kind of a nice little end to my staircase instead of it kind of ending harshly. And that's going to be really important for building a wide kind of a turning staircase that we're going to do in just a second. Another reason I kind of like to keep weather on too is because when I'm building, you know, my story or like my lands where I'm really trying to create a whole world. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the chat right here. So, okay, these things that hold the balcony up are just called walls. There, this guy right here, it's a stone wall. Get it right here. That's, actually, you can get it if you just type wall. you actually get all the different types of walls. This is what they look like. And they work the same way as a fence. All right, but yeah. So whenever you place these stairs, say they're always going to be facing that direction, and it just helps everything look a little bit better. All right, so now we know where our doorway is going to be. And then from that, I know that I'm going to switch to my path block, which is just my cobblestone. I said, you guys can always switch these up. But I'm going to have a path, and I'm going to need a bridge. So to do my bridges, all I do is just, I do have my bridges actually fully connected. When I'm planning it out, then I'll just kind of have it go back down. There we go. And I know that that is a bridge because this is going to be water flowing through, and you don't want people to have to swim every time they try to get to your house. And then we can kind of just keep blocking out this path, and I know that it's going to connect with this path over here in a little bit. Yeah, so bridges, pretty simple, and just planning it out. And then all you would do, guys, is just kind of come in, and you're going to want to connect all your paths. And then the same thing for this guy. Let's say I want his door right here. Then I know that I'm going to need a path that goes something like that. And then I can figure out how I'm going to connect all of these kind of paths together. I said, and we were doing paths and water a little bit later on down the road, just because buildings can take so much time, so many different ways to make them, and all that stuff. So we're probably going to spend the next today, and then probably next class as well, kind of just keep going over buildings. And then as far as how much Minecraft is, it should be $27 across all platforms. I don't think they change the price depending on what you have. Alrighty, staircases. Staircases are important because if you don't plan your staircase first and you kind of start building your house, you might end up finding out that you don't have enough room for your staircase. And that's super not good. So I know I'm gonna have my little balcony door like right here. So I can put that here. And actually what I'm gonna do is put one underneath and break him. So this is how I want my stairs to look right now. Just like that. Just enough for the player to be able to hop over because we can, or to walk over because we should be able to walk just kind of one at a time. Then make sure my staircase is big enough. Let's scoot these guys out. Same thing here. And then get rid of that one so that we can have this staircase going up. And I totally want to do a winding staircase so that you can enter it just like when you straight come in. So we'll have this come out again. Okay. And we can get rid of these guys. And we can see how that staircase is going to start to wind down. With plenty of room for us to walk up there comfortably. And then I'm not sure if you guys already saw, but we definitely can have, I'm going to do like handrails and all that leads up it, so it looks really nice. This looks like a cool place to have some bookshelves in the background, maybe like a little reading table back here or something. So yeah, definitely some cool stuff we can do here. But this is pretty much what I'll do for my stairs, at least in the planning stage. If you want, you can test them out just to make sure they work. And then all you have to do is just take your stair and just place it. And then it's going to kind of create these, it's going to create your stairs. And then this is where that curve I was telling you guys can be a little important or kind of start to mess with you. If I place the stair like looking straight at it, I'm able to walk up it. But then if I come over here and place it, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Say if I do it like this, I say it doesn't have that nice little curve that we wanted from earlier. Or we can also just put these facing this way. And if you actually try to place them like that, see, these stairs are gonna be facing the wrong way. So whenever you're placing stairs, it's really important it's really important that you're looking the way that you want to face. There you go. And then once you have a little corner, it doesn't matter where you place it. Now it'll actually make the curve for you. And do the same thing. Perfect. That's why I start off below, one below. That way my stairs lead me perfectly to it. And then see that I can come nice and down them. There we go, stairs. And I said, I think it's really important to find out where your stair is, where your stairs are, if you're gonna have them, and where your entrances are for the building, you're gonna have them as well. And then, guys, if you, let's say you just wanted a 2-story house and you didn't want a balcony, you just wanted this to all kind of be 2-story, then all you're really gonna do is just fill this in. And then from here, you'd go up 6 again, because we're at our base, we're at our floor. Give it these so it makes a little bit more sense for describing. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I think my dog saw a squirrel outside and she went crazy. So all we're gonna do is just kind of build out this whole thing, just how we did for the other one, kind of how we did for the bottom floor. And then just gonna go 6 up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I'll just get some stuff to hold the water. I'll get stuff to hold the water.
And we can connect these.
No!
And then basically just turning this from an outdoor area into an indoor area. So like how easy it is to go, you know, from a balcony to a 2-story house, or how easy it is kind of just to add another story. And if you wanted, you could even fill this up with, I think it's here. No, I think that's off. There we go. So you could even fill all this in here. You could like add some extra dirt or some stairs, and you can make this like a cool little place. Not a balcony anymore. So you can add in some more wood. I think you guys are kind of starting to see what I'm doing here. You just add all this in, get in some more wood. There you go. And then voila, we just made our house a little bit bigger and we added a second story to it. There you go. So just by doing kind of these things, you can see how we know what we're going to do. We're going to do the exact same thing to this house as well. Just kind of build up these structures. And so that's what you guys should kind of be doing over the weekend and stuff until we meet again on Monday, is just building out your structures and make sure that you like the way it's kind of looking so far, you know? I'll start to go over, actually let me go over roofs really quick, just a little bit before our class ends, because roofs are really important. So for roof, I can just do some cobblestone. So I'll actually start my roof, I'll place it on top of the beam. And then I'm gonna have this roof kind of come slanted down. So I'm gonna place it on top of that one as well. If I wanted to make the roof flat, I would just bring this up 6, and then it would just kind of have that squared off flat roof. And then we'll cover how to do actually making the roofs and all that. We'll cover those in the next class. Like I said, planning your world is so important. And as you can see, I've already been working on it for half an hour, and I only have about 1.5 houses done. But I plan to have about 4 houses. I'm going to do another house here, So it's really quick. I'm just trying to hurry here so that you guys can get a better idea of this planning stage. There we go. And I'll have another house here. And then the path that should connect it. Then I know that I'm going to have a big waterfall coming down here. I'm going to have a river that we dug out all through here. Nice little bridge. It's going to look super cool. And then, yeah, and these structures. And these structures, guys, you're going to build them up the same way that we did this one here. Just nice and simple, little steps at a time. And then once you get your structures built, I said 5 minutes should be plenty of time to show you guys how to do some quick walls and how to get this roofing kind of just the outline going at least. So you want to do them the same way that we did the stairs. The same way we do stairs is going to be the same method that we're going to use for roof building. So one over, one up, and then we can get rid of it. And perfect. There we go. So we know our roof is going to kind of be like this, at least for that top one. And then for our bottom ones, I'm actually want little triangles. So you can this, and then the same thing. Just going to use that stair method. That's fine. Just go one over. There we go. And then, hey, these guys met up perfectly. So super cool. So we know that this is going to kind of be one outline of the roof. If you want, just kind of take it back. If you just want to help kind of get a picture of it. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And you're going to want to do these for all of your houses in the planning stage. So I'm going to do this whole build up, just like I did right here. I'm going to do it for that house and for that house before I go into any kind of crazy detail. As I said, you always want to be sure that you're liking the way everything looks before you put in too much work into it. Right now, if I needed to destroy this house and completely move it, it would be no problem because I did it super quick. And by doing it super quick, I can already see how my village is going to start to look. See that? And then, of course, this is going to be the goal. This is what it should start to look like a little bit more, just more of these kind of houses built up. And then for those of you late, this is going to be a little bit more of the end goal. I'm using different materials, and in that village, I use just kind of your basic brick and glass over here, just so it's easy for you guys to kind of see what we do. And then I talked about those high ceilings. High ceilings are important because of this. So when I look up, we can, like hang a light, over our thing and it look cool, or we can hang banners and stuff, and they're not taking up like the whole side of the wall. And it just looks a little bit better too. When you're too cramped in, to put like another like layer in here. So it's gonna seem super cramped. And so it just really makes it a lot better. See that? Imagine if we had that roof. Yeah. So just a lot better if you just give yourself some extra space. And then it's also gonna leave space for kind of decorations on the corners and stuff. I'll show you guys how to do that a little bit later. But yeah, so that's basically today's class. Get your planning. Don't skip the planning stage, guys, because I know a lot of people just kind of want to start building like the whole house. Like this one, you kind of want to, you want to start putting in all the walls and everything, but don't quite do that yet. Because like I said, if I wanted to move this house, I still could. If I want to switch it back to a balcony, I still totally can. So give yourself some time to make those final decisions and instead kind of build the whole outline of it. Remember, this is called gray boxing. This is something that we actually use in the game industry every time that you're making a game and you're making a new level. So this is very important, guys. All right. And then really quick, open up to any questions that anyone has. I see you want how to make the shaped house. So to make this kind of like cool little shape of the house is super easy. What I started off with was a square. No problem. And I said, and things are just gonna keep picking up from here, everybody. So be ready. Really get the whole outlook, and make sure you guys you like the layout of your class. Get all these big, the base kind of structure, this gray box built out, and then next time we're gonna go a little bit more into detail on how to do some roofs, how to make them look cool, how to do different kinds, and all that kind of good stuff. And then I'm just gonna stay hopefully these next couple of minutes just to answer any last questions. So to that shaped house, Chase. So let's go right here. Oop. Flowers get in the way. So I'm gonna do this one just kind of small, but it's the same thing. Like I said, like I was telling everybody, it's all the same. It doesn't matter how big it is or how tiny it is. You're just kind of repeating the same methods over and over. So we can horse get out of here. So a lot of people will start off with the square, but in order to make this a little cooler, we can just knock out a couple of blocks here, and then just kind of have them go this way. And like I was telling people earlier, there's a lot who like to really count, and really get specific with. Here we go. So you're basically just adding squares and rectangles to other squares and rectangles. There's a lot of people who like to really count out, like their stuff and, get all the measurements right. But the reason I don't like to do that is because if I just kind of let my imagination work and just kind of whatever I'm feeling, all my houses end up just a little bit different. That means that they're going to have something unique about them. And there we go. And then you can just kind of keep doing that. So just take out another couple of blocks, and then just add another little kind of part of a square. And then all of a sudden, instead of having one, kind of boring square, you have this really cool intricate polygon, that we can do a lot of cool stuff with. And then from here, you want to fill this up with the wood, and then just start stacking the beams like we did over there. But alrighty, guys, that's class. I hope y'all had fun. Hope everyone liked it. I'm going to save and quit. And I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat, guys. Just in case. And anyone else? See if I missed any from earlier. Okay, no, I think we're good, guys. Alrighty. Thank y'all very much. I hope you had fun, and I will see you guys on Monday. All right.
All right, you guys, I'm going to end the Zoom call now. Bye, you guys. Thanks for joining us today.